wanted to capture this, even though I'm like just heading to bed. And I was just at my little altar here, writing in my gratitude journal as part of my bedtime routine that I really enjoy. And I was thinking about the day and just really reflecting on the beautifulness of this session that I was fortunate enough to be leading with one of the people that I'm working with, who is such a kind soul, and I'm so grateful to be working with them. It's such a pleasure and a delight and a joy to be able to offer them some support, as they are a very supportive force in the world. And I want to share a little bit of the highlights from today, and I think it just speaks to the power of the work that I do with the people who are willing to do this work with me. And that I find that it can be sometimes a little hard to label exactly what it is. Partly because I really am committed to being present with the person who's right in front of me, and to be able to draw from, my extensive toolkit in whatever way feels the most appropriate in the moment, regardless of whether I'm following, a framework from one of my teachers or just being guided intuitively. I feel it's really important to just be present in the moment and responding. I don't know if you could hear that. That was Juniper, the dog, on the couch, chiming in. Anyway, so what I wanted to share was just this, it's partly coaching. I mean, I think that's the umbrella in which our agreement, to work together is. But definitely through all my years of massage therapy, which is very much a form of therapy, and allowing ourselves to really integrate. And my favorite definition of healing is to become whole. And so I find that, various forms of therapy, and I love to include coaching in this as a healing modality as well, and that it really does help to honor our wholeness. They had been, so this person that I'm working with, they had uncovered that they realized that they hadn't really been allowing themselves to feel a certain emotion. And it's one of those emotions that's commonly labeled in our culture as, like something to avoid, and certainly not necessarily safe to express, or to express in a way that's met with, enthusiasm and encouragement. And so, yeah, I'm kind of trying to keep this, I don't want to share too many of the personal details because I want to respect their confidentiality, but also want to make this feel relatable. So anyway, so they had this realization that they had been, kind of denying this feeling within themselves for a while. And as we were just allowing ourselves to be present with the feeling and how it was showing up in the body, and engaging in some conversation with the energy of this feeling, and like what it wanted to say and that kind of thing, it was such a beautiful process. We spent a good chunk of time in silence, also just really being present with the feeling and being open to listening to it and listening to its wisdom. And I feel like it was just like I'm getting, shivers as I'm talking about this, because it was such a beautiful moment, that what transpired from that exploration, or that, just being present with these emotions that can sometimes, or these, these feelings that can be uncomfortable, and that we don't necessarily always have a lot of capacity to be able to be with, But, you know, when we're able to both hold space for it together, it really is, yeah, support really can be the difference that makes the difference, and can help things that we may have been avoiding seem a lot less scary, knowing that there's somebody there with us through it. And yeah, and what transpired was just such a beautiful, you know, without giving away a lot of the personal details, it was really this beautiful example of how this feeling that had been suppressed, had been kind of like shunned, like, you know, not wanting to feel that way and wanting to like just, you know, shift it into feeling something else like right away before really, you know, giving time to really honor that feeling. When we did spend time to honor that feeling, what came out of it was this beautiful deepening of self-compassion and this beautiful invitation to really like just be enveloped in like the unconditional love of the universe that is always there in the background. You know, like it is always there in the background. That's my belief. That's my experience. My experience of it is that when I am feeling disconnected from it, that's just, you know, me feeling disconnected from it. It's not that it is not there. It's just that I'm not allowing myself to receive it, or I've cut myself off from receiving it. So anyway, this was the shared experience within this session as well, that that being able to be present with these uncomfortable emotions really opened up this whole flood of love that had been inaccessible prior to that. And where we had been working on the idea of, you know, self-compassion and self-love, and, you know, this person is very loving towards other people and can have a hard time, like so many of us caring people can have a hard time turning that care towards ourselves. You know, it's really easy to deprioritize our own needs in favor of helping other people. I know there's a lot of people out there that can relate to that. And so this whole process ended up transforming so that this idea of like, you know, oh, I got to work on loving myself, you know, instead of it being this like chore, it just like unfolded so beautifully and so naturally. And so like, you know, I want to say like playfully, like it was just, there was such a lightness about it. And I think that that's one of the blessings of this work, is that, you know, sometimes I think things like therapy and, you know, coaching, it's like things can seem like it's like, oh my gosh, that's going to be so much work. And like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to deal with that. And like, I don't feel like I have the capacity for that. You know, I just want more ease in my life. I don't want more work. You know, when really in reality, when it can just unfold so beautifully. You know, sometimes, okay, I just want to acknowledge, you know, sometimes there can be some effort involved for sure. And, you know, part of that effort involves like showing up for it. And yet there are so many nuances that can unlock beautiful levels of ease within that, so that it doesn't have to feel like work, and it can be such a delight and such a gift and such a joy. Anyway, so that's what inspired me to capture this. I find sometimes it can be so challenging to describe the work that I do with people in words, because so much of it, even though a lot of it does involve very meaningful conversation with people, with their minds and their bodies and their souls, you know, sometimes there can be a lot of loss in translation when I'm just like talking about it instead of being in the experience of it. So I hope that gives you at least a little glimmer of understanding of, of some of what this might be about, you know. And as I, you know, often say, just like talking out about a massage, you know, pales in comparison to receiving a massage. Talking about this work can really, you know, it doesn't necessarily always do justice to the power of this work. And so if you are curious, you know, I love talking about this stuff. I love, love, love it. It's just like, it just lights me up so much. And I so would love to share my love of this work with, you know, other people too, and to have it feel more commonplace as well, because I feel like this kind of support can be game changing, life changing, like just world changing, you know, and yeah, so let's do it. All right. If you are seeing this, I hope wherever you are seeing this, I don't know if you can see the little heart in the background. It's like our outside lights there. I put them in the shape of a heart. So that's my, and so maybe a little bit, not quite the most perfect shape, but hopefully you get the idea. And I hope that you can feel me giving you the love wherever you are. And I am going to say goodnight because that's where I am at. And wherever you are in your own day, I wish you a beautiful rest of your day. And don't be shy to reach out. Have courage. Follow those intuitive nudges. All right. Mwah. Until next time.